Hey, what's up? Hello. Welcome to the Untitled Car Show this week. So, only about three things I want to talk about today. One kind of thing I just found out yesterday was I looked up. Um, I saw something about the new. Somebody commented somewhere about the new WRC game, and decided to look into it a little bit. And apparently, somebody data mined a little bit of information about it, and that's going to be from what they data mined. The release date is July 28th. Is supposedly the release day. Didn't really expect that. It usually comes around September or October. So it's pretty cool. I mean, Codemasters is handling it now. Versus I think Nacon. So unresponsive. That's weird. I know they broke the other day. It broke completely. I couldn't even go live. I have not had any issues to my knowledge since I've been on the app. Haven't really used it that much, but lately. But yeah, the game is now done by Codemasters, which is fantastic because they're good at rally games. No. I added the lights. Background's been the same, kind of, with the flags and the Hot Wheels and stuff. Yeah. I added the lights. There's been slight changes. I'm not done completely yet, but yeah, it's coming along slowly but surely. Yeah, with Codemasters doing the game now, they did the Dirt series, Dirt Rally, and stuff like that. Dirt Rally is a great rally game. So yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, it does actually release in July. That would be pretty cool. That's kind of a game to play in between now and when Motorsport comes out, because then Motorsport's going to be taken up. The new Forza Motorsport's going to be taking up a lot of my time. So we're going to move on from that. Really not much information really out there for the game. If it's going to be called just WRC 23 or what it's going to be called. From what I've been seeing, there's not much info about it. So hopefully we get more info in the coming weeks. I did see something else. There's been a lot of. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Formula One and NASCAR comparisons and stuff. And NASCAR just compared to other forms of racing lately. I saw a graphic. It was on the Autosport Instagram page. They posted a graphic that said after 7 races, of the Formula One season, the Red Bull Racing Team, who next year, I don't know, it doesn't actually clear. I think it will on my end, Sky Zone. Yeah, it clears, but then the next time I go live, it'll actually come back. It's weird. I don't know why it's like that. But anyway, yeah, their graphics said that after 7 races, the Red Bull Racing Team led 401 laps. And then the other teams combined, that's Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren, and I know I'm missing other teams. I don't really follow F1 that closely. So 401 laps led by Red Bull Racing. The other teams combined led 16 laps combined. Now the argument can be made and is made time and time again about F1's so much better than NASCAR and it's better, like the top form of racing. I mean, not even just against NASCAR itself. I mean, that's against other forms of motorsport. People seem to think that Formula One is so much better. Just that statistic alone kind of says it right there. The cars are cool. Obviously, they're like the most like technologically advanced race cars that are out there. Not gonna dispute that fact. There's clearly no passing, and it is very heavily dependent upon, one team has obviously figured something out and everybody else is playing catch up while that team just dominates. And that's not, you see it here and there in other forms of motorsports, but way, way less often. Along with the team orders, that stuff is annoying too. That I feel comes into play more often in Formula One than it does in other forms of motorsport. It does happen. It did happen in NASCAR once, and the team was penalized for it pretty heavily. It does happen in rallying, and some other motorsport stuff too. I know it happens, but it seems more prevalent in Formula One. Now, the reason I'm kind of like talking about this is because last week at Le Mans, the Garage 56, which I've explained, I kind of talked about it last week. The Garage 56 car is kind of like a experimental, one-off type of race car that they bring in every year at Le Mans. It's typically something different and whatnot. This year, it was I believe it was a Hendrick provided a Camaro NASCAR Cup car. This has caused a lot of, caused a lot of buzz. Definitely helped Le Mans and help give Le Mans a bit more exposure here in the United States, which is fantastic. The drivers, you had Jimmy Johnson, Jenson Button, and I'm blanking on the third driver. Obviously, Jenson Button, Formula One driver. Jimmy Johnson, Jenson Button, I believe, won a Formula One championship. You have Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. And I'm pretty certain the other guy had wins and maybe even a championship on his own. If I can remember his name, I'll bring it up. very talented drivers. Everybody's was kind of talking about it. Hey, you know, NASCAR can't turn right. And that's obviously very not true whatsoever because they race multiple um, road courses every year. So obviously they can turn right. And Jimmy Johnson has sports car racing experience, as do some of the drivers in the Cup Series have driven some sort of sports car. So that argument really isn't that great. Now, they did add extra aero to the car to help it handle a little bit better. Um, it was not meant to, obviously, not meant to win the race. It wasn't meant to be faster. It was kind of meant to just, showcase the car. And I don't want to say just, I want to say just ride around. It did complete around about like 21 hours of the race. They did have to pull it in um, to fix the transmission, to replace the transmission. But for it to last as long as it did and still be able to finish the race, um, that's fantastic. It did, better than what most people thought it would. It was faster than the GTE cars, so they had it start ahead of the GTE cars, which is not normal for the Garage 56 to run. Now, to my knowledge, the Cup car has more horsepower than the GTE cars. So that right there puts it at an advantage, along with that added aero stuff. And it was also lighter than a normal Cup car would be. So that kind of helps it out. That with that horsepower, helping put that to the track. Now the GTE cars, obviously they have aero, pretty aggressive aero, and they are also fast. But when you add extra horsepower, a lighter weight than what the vehicle is normally running, obviously it's going to be faster. There was something like 3 seconds a lap faster than the GTE cars, which is pretty cool. But again, they're not running against other cars. And then people are still comparing them even to the LMP2 cars, which is also not. It's if you're going to compare a prototype car to a Cup car, it's not even remotely close. It's like night and day. The prototype car is very well designed. Kind of. It's designed for a purpose, for aerodynamics. Here, come on. But with your new HDCP thing, I'm not entirely sure. I know when I got the Series X, I had to get a new capture card, which I think is the HD60S Plus. And I haven't really gone on any of the apps actually since I got it. So I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. So, yeah. Oh, anyway, So the Garage 56 car. Um, it's it's just been a lot. Like, I mean, the whole thing kind of annoyed me, especially now people have seen Ford also unveiled the GT3, and apparently the um, Ford CEO said something. Jim Farley said some stuff about, you know, the Camaro and kind of, downplaying it, and people are, Kick finally works on you. Awesome. People downplaying it. Yeah, he was downplaying the Camaro and stuff, running at Le Mans and all this other stuff, and people are obviously making comments about that. It's I don't I'm not trying to be biased. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, the Garage 56 Camaro was a pretty cool thing. I'm glad that they were able to showcase NASCAR stuff to a foreign audience who generally does not see NASCAR stuff. I mean, obviously, with the internet, you can go on there and watch NASCAR, but for people to actually see a car like that up close, um, and how the NASCAR, V8s sound, which are very loud and awesome sounding, um, for a foreign audience to see that brings more exposure. And it also worked the other way, brought more exposure for sports car racing in America. Um, IMSA's been doing that for years, kind of growing and stuff, and especially with the new hypercar class or GTP class over here in IMSA, they had like their largest audience at the 24 hour of Daytona, which is fantastic. I would much rather see sports car racing growing and people paying more attention to it. Um, the other thing I would like people to pay more attention to over here is rallying. But that might be coming. So we're kind of seeing some cool stuff happen here. So yeah, it's not, the GT3 Mustang is built for sports car racing. People seem to wanted to make comments about winning and this and that, and I mean, Ford won Le Mans, and the argument can be made, so did Shelby. Shelby did win. He also helped build the GT40 and develop it and stuff, and a bunch of people worked together on that. The GT40 was built to win overall, and Ford did that 4 times. They won overall. So really, you can't argue about Shelby. Shelby did win. They won their class many times with the Cobra, which is also another very beautiful car, especially the love the Daytonas. The Cobra Daytonas are fantastic. But Chevy hasn't done that. People were saying about the Corvette. Corvette has not won overall. It hasn't. That's sort of a fact because it's a GT car. It's not a prototype car or anything like that. But it's kind of fact, and if I'm wrong, somebody could tell me for sure. Just trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can with this. But yeah, it's just the amount of people, even still, talking shit about NASCAR, and how Formula One's better and sports car racing is better, and they can't turn left, they can't turn right, and this and that. It's just the majority of the races are on an oval, which goes left. But like I said, they run multiple. They just ran at Sonoma road course goes left and right. They run numerous races on road courses throughout the season. And the drivers have also proven themselves, worthy in other disciplines. So it's, they do get, kind of downplayed a bit. I'm sure that people can find the video of Carl Edwards in the race of champions, driving a Fiat on a very small course against Formula One champion Michael Schumacher and beating him by, believe it was over a second. Over 1 second, he beat a Formula One world champion. I mean, obviously, you got to have skill to do that. And, Carl Edwards, obviously very skilled. He's won many races in the Cup Series. And, yeah, it's time to kind of stop. This racing series is better than this racing series, and this and that. I mean, really, NASCAR, I get it, is an American thing. We started it, and it started, it's definitely way different than, Formula One. I mean, if you look at how Formula One is, it's all, super sophisticated and high class, whereas NASCAR started from, moonshine runners. So very, very different, different worlds it's coming from. But yeah, it is how it is. Like I said, I mean, I am a Ford fan. But overall, I am a fan of racing and I'm a fan of cars. I have my favorites. There's other cars I like that aren't Ford. But it's, I'm glad to see that the Garage 56 car gained so much attention, whether it was negative or not. A lot of people thought it was really cool. Some people were even saying that they were able to stay awake during the race because of how loud the Garage 56 car was. So that's really cool. That is really cool to hear. I'm glad that it gained attention. It got the attention that it did, whether it was negative or positive, because it opened up people to, maybe they would have never cared about NASCAR or, watching a race or even looking into it or whatever. And then because of that, they did. And the same goes for people over here. Maybe they never heard of the 24 Hour of Le Mans. For now, somehow. I mean, it could happen. But maybe they really didn't care about, sports car racing and stuff. And they watched a 24-hour of Le Mans because they wanted to see the Cup car running. And they were like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. So, I mean, people also need to realize there's multiple races going on. There's the LMP races going on. They're racing each other. They're racing for the win, along with, the LMP2 cars racing for their class win. GTE, which I think they just had GTE. I don't think they had GTE Pro. It wasn't separated. If I remember correctly, it wasn't separated in GTE Pro. So there's races going on in GTE, which next year is just going to be GT3. People are saying that the GTE cars are going away, but the GT3 cars are basically there's going to be a new set of rules, but it's going to be virtually almost the same. So yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot. Nitro Cross, which was Nitro Rallycross last year, started their season and at Mid America, which I have never heard of up until this weekend. If you have not checked it out, I believe you can still find their YouTube page, Nitro Rallycross YouTube page. It might still be up on Peacock also. But they aired it this weekend on Rumble, which I had never heard of Rumble until this weekend. And apparently it's kind of similar to YouTube. So if you haven't watched it, the track, it's a whole new track that was built. It is probably the best. I don't want to say the best rallycross track. It is a awesome rallycross track. The jumps are huge. The corners are huge. It is a really awesome track. And I think it's over a mile long. So it's a very long rallycross track. So if you have never checked it out, this race is the one to check out. So we'll go over to Rumble. It's like rumble.com, and it's like rumble.com/Nitro Cross. Possibly. I just went on rumble.com and then searched Nitro Cross. They aired it this weekend. That again also has multiple classes. Top class is the Group E, which are electric. You have the Nitro Cross Next, which is kind of like a spec class. They also do side-by-sides, and they did like I think they're Baja buggies or something, but they're just basically Volkswagen Beetles. So yeah, there's a few classes there. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't checked it out, honestly, this race was fantastic. I watched a pretty decent portion of it. If you, like I said, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. The winner, I am going to kind of spoil it for you a little bit, but it's still worth watching. Fraser McConnell took the first win. I think it is a little bit of time in between now and the next race. And you know what I just realized? I've been streaming this whole time, and I haven't been streaming on the right thing. Oh my god. Might as well change it now. Even though I'm going to be wrapping it up. Just going to fix this real quick. All right, I changed the info. A little late now, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested at all, I mean, in Rallycross, you have the FIA World Rallycross, which is obviously encompasses kind of the whole world type of deal. But if you like huge things, I guess you could kind of call Nitro Cross kind of the Americanized Rallycross. Some of the tracks are short, like the FIA World Rallycross. You know, they have more short and tight courses. Nitro Cross, huge. There's always at least one big jump. It's the damn Travis Pastrana came up with the whole thing, and he kind of designs the tracks a little bit, and they're just completely insane. Completely insane. But yeah, that's about that is about all everything I wanted to talk about this week. So going to wrap it up. And yeah, I hope to catch everybody on the next episode of the Untitled Car Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Obviously I stream it live. That's why I'm kind of like I talk to other people and whatnot while I'm talking about this. Yeah, I'm just making sure things are working. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Again, like I said, I stream it live. It's gonna be mostly on Kick now. Kick seems to be growing a bit, and yeah, Twitch is kind of not making good decisions. But this is gonna be on Kick. I'm gonna be posting it, and then I post it to YouTube. As always, you can follow me here on Kick. So it's kick.com/JailBearGT. I will be leaving the link to all my pages and stuff in the YouTube video, in the YouTube description for the video. So yeah, hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you had a great Father's Day. Today is Father's Day. So I hope you had a great Father's Day, and I will see you next week. Gonna put some stuff together and maybe possibly I don't know if I'm gonna do a video on some car show stuff that I've kind of been putting together. I might just do it here on the car show. Might make a separate video of that. I'm not entirely positive yet. I will figure it out this week though. So yeah, hope everybody has a great weekend or had a great weekend. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you on the next episode of the Untitled Car Show. Have a good one.